The following program is rated PG. Parental guidance is advised, as the theme or content may not be suitable for all children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, it's Wendy McAlpine. I've got Renee Braun behind the camera right over there. We are at Grey Fox Brewing, not any other color. And I'm here with Chris Neufeld, who is, you're a bunch of stuff here. You're the brewmaster co-owner?
Yep. Janitor, whatever it needs to be.
Yeah, first taster?
First taster, yeah.
Have you ever poisoned yourself?
No.
No.
No. Well, no.
See, I had this feeling that there might be, like, that's a very inappropriate question to ask, but.
I have accidentally tasted something that had far too much alcohol.
Oh, that you made yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, it did not go for sale.
Oh, well, it could have had a whole specialty market. How do you get a beer to go too high in alcohol? Just before we get into your backstory. I don't want to leave this.
Well, in that particular case, I was having temperature regulation problems and I'd frozen it and didn't realize it. And alcohol doesn't freeze, but the water content does, so that when I poured out, I got pure alcohol out of the tank. And yeah.
You could use that for cleaning.
Yeah.
Or sell it as moonshine.
Right.
This is Copperhead Road.
Yeah. Don't tell the liquor board, that didn't happen.
That did not happen. Certainly we're not talking about it live. All right, so tell me the beginnings. We did talk to you first season. Came and visited, you showed me all your pressurized giant torpedoes in the back. That, you know, still have me a little scared. You're in this huge concrete bunker out between sort of no man's land between Kelowna and Lake Country, right? So the bottom end of Winfield? Like, what is this actually called?
Well, this is technically Kelowna here.
Okay.
But it's Lake Country all around us. It's just this little postage stamp of Kelowna right around the old Hiram plant.
Who did that?
I don't know. It's confusing to people.
I think we should find them. Let's see, knock it off. All right, so you're on, what is it? I'm trying to read.
Hiram Court, which is just off of Jim Bailey.
Okay, so Jim Bailey sounds boozy. Hiram Walker sounds boozy.
Yeah.
So just think of all the boozy names.
It's a cool address for a brewery.
Yeah, it is, and it's starting to pop up some small breweries out here, like craft breweries.
For sure.
Yeah, it makes it a cool place to visit, like a destination when you come out to this part of the world, because it's not that well known yet.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Grey Fox. You were looking for something that was GF, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, initially we wanted to call it Foxtail because as a gluten-free brewery, I can't use barley, so the base of my beer is millet, and the type of millet that we use is called Foxtail millet. So we thought Foxtail Brewing was a cool name, and you could do very Canadian nature kind of branding around that. We thought that was cool, but that name was already in use. We couldn't get it, so we landed on Grey Fox because the initials GF, gluten free. So kind of a not obvious nod to our customers, right?
Right. So everything that you make is gluten free.
Yeah, it's a dedicated gluten free facility. There's no gluten on site at all.
I had this thing last Saturday, and it was Saturday, wasn't it?
It was Saturday.
Yeah, I came down to it, and people were saying such amazing things. Like people who had never tried a gluten-free beer before, and they were, you know, kind of expecting, you know, like the gluten-free bread 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That pasty, styrofoamy.
Well, to be fair, the beer 15 years ago wasn't much better.
Oh, okay. But Do you know, like back in history, how it got to be that we used wheat for beer? Was there just so much of it? Like, why weren't people using millet? Because it's beer. It isn't.
Yeah.
Like it is beer.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know the history exactly, but I do know, like, most beer is made from barley.
Okay.
And barley has been bred for hundreds of years to make very good beer. So,
okay.
So there's
they
actually
were
a
tweaking it in.
Yeah. So there's a naturally occurring enzyme in barley that when you soak it in hot water, the starches convert to sugars. The saccharification, that's called. And it wasn't always efficient at doing that. It was more efficient than other grains, but it was not as efficient as it is today. But through years of crossbreeding and modifications, they've made barley super good for making beer.
Oh, okay. So are there things that you have to do with the millet that
Well, yeah,
you wouldn't have to do?
So we use millet and rice, and neither of those grains contain that enzyme.
Oh, okay.
So we actually use a synthesized version of that enzyme to do the conversion for us.
Oh, okay. Sort of like if I couldn't digest milk, I would take some enzyme that would help me digest it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we add an enzyme. There's actually a few different enzymes we use to make that saccharification happen. That starch sugar conversion that needs to happen to make beer. And of course, once you've converted the starches to sugar, yeast and sugar makes alcohol. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, in everything, right?
In everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got so many questions, and my head is like soaked in your event from Saturday and the things that I was hearing people say to you. One guy, of course, asked if you are the gray fox.
Yeah, I get that
he
a
is
lot.
the silver fox. Thank you very much. Yeah, how many people out of 10 that have not met you and are just walking in here think that it's named after you?
Oh, everybody. Yeah,
100%.
Which is not. Yeah, okay, it is what it is.
Well, I was teasing you about it before. Like, Chris and I have known each other for a long time, and we're probably cousins.
Probably.
Yeah, Boys of Vane. Half of my family's from Steinbach.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we're cousins. Anyway, there's a game. It's called the Menno game.
Menno game. Yeah,
If you don't know how to play it, you're not Mennonite.
it's true.
And you never have been, but you could be. You can get in. It's a family with open doors. He's adopting.
You just gotta like schmalt fat a lot. That's all.
Yeah, like what exactly is that? Because we were kind of excommunicated, so I didn't get a lot of, like, seriously, we were. We didn't get a lot of down-home culture. So if you were chewing the schmalt fat, what would you be doing?
It's basically just the lard from the pig. It's just, yeah.
Good Lord, does anybody chew that?
No, but they cook with it a lot.
Oh, okay. Oh, I've got the Mennonite Treasury of Recipes, and there's some stuff in there.
That's a great book.
It's a great book, and if you want, coronary heart disease, cook from this book.
Lots of cream and fat in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, schmuck fat. And what do you call that white gravy stuff that you would put on the Veronica?
Oh.
What's that stuff?
Sorry, it's not coming to me, but it's really good.
Yeah. It's like bacon rendering and probably very glutinous though.
Doesn't have to be.
You could put cornstarch?
Yeah, I make it with cornstarch.
Yeah, now you're just in with like old home talking about nothing. This is what I understand we're supposed to do. Having a Menno connection, two people that really aren't that much.
We ever thought we'd be having a Mennonite conversation at a brewery? Honestly, like.
I saw who was at your party on Saturday. This is a great place because Mennonites, if they can't cook, they don't get married and they don't have children. Correct. If they can't sing, they don't get married and they can't have children. So after several generations, they can cook and they can sing. So everybody else has been sort of bred out of existence.
It's kind of true.
Yeah, and they don't, believe in that, but but here we are with people that can cook and sing, and now they're making beer. Do you sing to your beer?
Well, I sing when I'm making beer. Is that?
That should be, yeah. Are you singing in Plautdorch or English?
Well, I mostly sing along with 70s classic rock, so English, yeah.
Oh, but that would be funny. My roommate used to sing Draai Me Loose for Turn Me Loose.
Oh.
And it fits the meter too. Try it, look it up, Google that. Oh, I shouldn't say that, I'll turn on your in-house.
Well, I'm just reminded of my friend who was writing a music piece for music class at Mennonite Bible College, and it was a song by Split Enz, and his professor wanted to know who this Mr. Enz was. That's one of those jokes that needs translation. Yeah. So Enz is a hardcore Mennonite name. It is.
Yeah. So Giesbrecht, Penner, Claassen, Enz.
Neufeld.
Coop. Neufeld.
Yeah.
100% Neufeld. There's more Neufelds than Coops.
There's a lot of Neufelds.
Yeah. A bunch of us couldn't sing, and so we were sent off to Siberia on an ice floe. It's like, you can't cook, you can't sing. Half the Coop population. That's what's left. We can do it all. All right, so you're making a gluten-free beer. Why did you just see there was a hole in the marketplace, which there is?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've got celiac disease, and I was diagnosed over 20 years ago. So I've never really been a beer person. I know everybody wants me to be a beer person, but I never really was, because number one, there wasn't really any good gluten-free beer available here, but even before I was diagnosed, I never felt well when I was drinking beer, so I just never did it. But when my wife and I were looking to start a business, just brainstorming business ideas, we just realized that that's a hole in the market here. There is good gluten-free beer out there now, just not here, and so we thought that was a good potential for a business.
And you've been taking your stuff to contests and stuff, is that correct?
Well, yeah, so when we first opened a year and a half ago, of course, having never drank any craft beer, because 20 years ago when I was diagnosed celiac, there was no craft beer.
Right.
Having never had it, I'm trying to make all of these beers that I've never tasted. And so my friends are telling me that it's great, but I don't know if they know what they're talking about or if they're just blowing smoke. Right. So I entered some of my beers in the Canadian Brewers Association when we were just a couple of weeks old. And I sent them off thinking I'll find out if they're any good or not. And unfortunately, because we were a brand new brewery and I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't package it properly, and they all skunked, except for one, the one we call Quick Witted. And it won gold, and all they said was, we really liked it.
Okay.
So, we've got a national gold medal now, which is awesome, but I still didn't have any feedback on my beer.
I want to know why they skunked and what that is.
Well, I didn't can them correctly.
Okay.
And so some oxygen got into the can, and then that spoiled it.
Yeah, so it got, would it be actually like a skunky?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's sulfur fault, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, because I know in wine, if it smells like onions, garlic, or skunk,
exactly.
It's sulfur.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you fixed up that.
So what we did is along came the Canada Beer Cup a few months later. So we thought, okay, well, we'll submit into there and see what happens. And again, all we got back from them is we really liked it and we swept it. We got gold, silver, bronze.
Yeah. How do you get all of them?
Well, I submitted 4 beers into the category.
Oh, okay.
And we got actually the first 4 spots, but only had 3 medals.
Wouldn't that look great on the leaderboard? Like, are people still liking you, or are you?
Well,
I know you've got a lot of fans, and they will even come in and donate time.
Yeah.
But I would think if I'm your competitor.
Well, the thing is around here I don't really have anybody that considers me competition, because I'm kind of my own. I do my own thing. So most of the local breweries sell our product because they want to have a gluten-free product, right?
Yeah.
There really isn't anybody else in Western Canada. There's a small one in the Kootenays who doesn't do that, distribute that widely. So most of my competition is Quebec and in the Maritimes, and it's like far enough away that we're kind of not in the same markets. So actually I get a lot of, I communicate. We have a gluten-free brewers association, so I talk to these people, and there's just a lot of respect there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
And so we've entered in the CBACs, the Canadian Brewers Association, again. It's in 2 weeks. She called me today and begged me to come. I said, well, I must have won something. She said, I won way more than won something. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Oh my goodness, where is it?
It's in Hamilton.
So you're going there?
I don't have that in my budget.
Well, when is it's in 2 weeks?
It's in 2 weeks, yeah.
I'm going to be in Hamilton until the 14th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You want to go collect my awards?
I would love to. I'll come home with all your awards if I could go to the event. representing Grey
Yeah.
Fox.
100%.
Is it going to be?
Yeah, it's in Hamilton in 2 weeks.
Well, I don't know. What's the actual date?
I don't remember.
We're doing math now.
Yeah. today's the 9th. It's 25th,
Yeah.
6th, 4th.
Yeah, I'm
something
not
like
going to be there.
Not going to be there. Oh, okay.
I wanted to go. Okay, rally. So yeah, when people come here to taste your beer, they can see a bunch of awards and
Yep.
stuff on your braggy brag wall.
Yep.
And do you sell beer straight out of here as
We
well?
do. We sell beer straight out of here. Most of our sales are at liquor stores, though,
Okay.
and somewhat at other breweries and restaurants, but mostly liquor stores. And actually, that's where the awards have come in, have been helpful because, gluten-free products, they're more expensive than regular products, and my beer is expensive. It's probably not even probably. I would say it's the most expensive beer in the country. But it's just the reality is it's cost me a lot of money to make it. And so we get a lot of pushback from liquor stores that just don't get it. They went, why would I spend all that money to use up shelf space? Like, they just didn't get it.
Oh.
And then we won awards, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, now we get it.
Right, yeah.
And so we literally, the day after we won the Canada Beer Cup, we had 25 stores order that hadn't ordered before.
Well, there you go.
So,
And I think there's a little bit of swagger to somebody who brings like the most expensive of anything to a party.
well,
My friends are all very label conscious.
Well, you know what? It kind of irks me a little bit that, there are wines that are $10 and wines that are $20 and wines that are $100, and nobody questions that. But beer is supposed to be this price, and if you're more than that, it's like you're just expensive. And it's like, yeah, but
Oh, wow.
I've got a specialty premium product.
Yeah.
It's worth
Small
more.
batch.
It's worth more money.
Yeah.
But that's just not the way the world looks at it. We're roughly the same price as a cider.
Okay.
Nobody questions the price of a cider. Why
Not
are they
at all.
questioning the price of my? Yeah, it drives me nuts. But
Yeah.
it's education, right? We're sort of creating a new category that stores are not familiar with, and we're slowly making way. Like, we get the price argument a lot less now than we did a year ago.
Good.
And I think a year from now it's going to be hopefully established to the point where they get it.
Yeah. It's
Because if they order it and put it on the
premium
shelf,
thing.
it does sell through. People do go buy it. So-
exactly. Yeah. Huh. And can we get it like watching a game or anything like that here in town?
We were, we're in Prospera
Okay.
place. So if you're at a Rockets game, you can have one of my beers. There's a special
so
beer
cool.
counter in the one end that's all local craft beer breweries, and so we're in there.
Oh, I bet that's a busy counter.
Yeah, it usually
Yeah.
is when I'm there.
Well, we've got the whole valley is littered with excellent breweries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, to that, like I said, when I was at the CVACs it was in Halifax last year, 56% of the awards went to BC breweries. So BC's known as the place for craft beer in Canada, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Well, think about craft beer in Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
You can't have them apart from each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's part of the gig. All right. So I want to get into the tasting segment.
Yeah.
Last time I was here, brought a bunch of potato chips.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is the safest thing I know.
No gluten in here.
No gluten. And so this time you have a couple of things, and I brought some things. I'm looking for sort of base tastes, like not too complicated tastes, so we
Yep.
can talk about pairing. And you were saying that pairing really isn't your forte,
Yeah.
but it is mine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I can taste it when you give me stuff, and I can taste the subtle differences.
Yep.
I'd like to think I have a good palate from living in the Okanagan as a celiac for 20 years and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
drinking all the wine. I like to think I have
Yes.
a fairly good palate. I just don't have the knowledge behind how you do this.
Yeah. I think of it like a color wheel.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so picture a color wheel, and things that are next to each other on the color wheel, they kind of just go and they feel really sort of homey together. They don't go like, they're more like, So you have a taste where, like if you had a beer that had a strong bitter note to it, you might pair it with something that also has some bitterness.
Okay.
And they would go. It wouldn't be very exciting, but it
Right.
would go. So now if you took something like blue and then yellow,
Right.
on your color wheel, blue and yellow make each other more of what they are. So if you have yellow sitting beside blue, that blue looks so blue.
Right.
And the yellow looks so yellow.
Okay.
And it's also
That
a
makes
lot
sense.
more exciting. It isn't like, comfy old shoe. It's like, this is this is amazing. This is like hot cement and rain at the same time.
Yeah, yep.
Which is great, because if you've lived on the
Makes
prairies,
sense.
you know exactly what that feels like. Like a
Well,
little
just from what
kid
you're
running
saying,
around.
I'm picturing you can be in a swimming pool and it's really pleasant, and then
Yeah.
you go in the hot tub and
Yes.
it's quite warm, but then you go back in the swimming pool and
Absolutely.
it's freezing cold. It's totally changed the
Yes.
water, right?
And each one is more so. So it brings
Yeah.
out other elements of taste as well.
Sure,
So if
that
we
makes sense.
took our bitter food and put that with a sweeter edge beer, it's going to bring down, well, it's going to actually push up that impression of sweetness.
Okay.
You're still going to have the same amount of sweetness because nothing changes the chemistry.
Right.
But your the way you
The perception
taste
of
it,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to go, oh wow, that just became so much sweeter. Remember when we tried last time we tried your chocolate with your IPA?
Yeah.
You had a bitter chocolate and the IPA.
And the IPA.
The IPA just bounced,
Yeah.
right? But the bitterness in that IPA, like it got really fruity and crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which surprised me because I thought that it would
Right.
make it sharp.
Yeah,
And it
it's
didn't
like,
at all.
this is going to be gross. And I'm like, maybe, probably, but let's try. And then when we tried the chocolate after the IPA, the chocolate was like creamy and
Yeah.
round and gorgeous. So that's like opposites.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So it's like that, I think on your sour, I think we should really play with all the different tastes to see what, because like this is just theory, so you can take theory home and apply it to food that you're eating or in a restaurant.
Right.
What if you're getting a sour beer, whether it's his or somebody else's, what are you going to pair it with? Kind of in the general realm. Usually salty fatty goes with everything.
Okay.
And beer is a very easy thing to pair with food.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some food that I hate having wine with, but it's like classic to have wine with this. Like pizza and red wine. I don't like that. I think it's just too much.
Yeah.
But pizza and a nice wheat beer
Yeah,
are amazing together.
absolutely.
Yeah, because they're kind of the same weight too. So that's the other thing you want to consider when you are food pairing is the weight of the thing. So let's see, in the wine world, if you had like a light rosé spritzy kind of thing, it's very light, it tastes like berries, it's really pretty on its own, and then you put it with something heavy like a steak with mushroom sauce on it. Well, that is going to take over this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want to pair a classroom bully with the delicate kid
Yeah,
in the class.
You need to have a really
Yeah.
bold red to go with that.
Exactly, it's got to like stand
up to
up to that. And I think a stout beer would stand up to this, our steak with mushroom sauce.
Right.
A nice stout because they're the same weight. So for there, you can think like wrestling match. Like one of them is just going to wipe out
Okay,
the
that
other
makes
one.
sense because I did a coffee porter at Christmas time, and I did a really light-bodied beer because I didn't want to overpower the coffee. I wanted to make sure those coffee
Okay,
notes
yeah.
were there. And what I got was something that tasted like a cold brew. It was just coffee, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
to me
'cause
to do that.
coffee bullied your
so
light beer.
So then I made a much more robust wort to stand up to the coffee, and then that worked out really well. People really enjoy that beer.
Right.
But that's just what you said.
Yep.
And coffee is quite robust, so I needed a more robust beer
yeah.
to go up against
Yeah,
it. That
yeah.
makes sense to me now.
Yeah, coffee full on is like getting hit with a board.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, whew, wow, that was coffee. And if whatever you're pairing with it, even if you're just pairing it inside of a meal, like a big, bitter, complicated taste like coffee, you're going to have something big to go with that on a plate. I don't know, like arugula.
Okay.
Arugula is a big, complicated, bitter taste.
Yeah.
And if you throw some balsamic vinegar over that, it's pretty, like balsamic can hold up, but it's got a sweet note that'll play with that bitterness and just calm it right down. And it's like,
sense.
oh, okay, you are now edible.
Yeah.
And you're making it pair better with everything else. Yeah,
Right.
so it's just like pairing things together for what you want to taste and also the weight of it. You can't have one thing be completely overwhelmed and sacked by the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that was kind of my challenge because when I make beer, I try to keep all my flavors really subtle because I want to keep it balanced and approachable. I don't want something that's just going to blow your face off, and I want you to want a second one. But I take that approach because a lot of my customers that are gluten-free, they haven't drank a lot of beer, so I don't want anything too intense, crazy that's going to put them off, right? And I think that's why, one of the reasons why my beer is so popular, because it's so very approachable. Like, it's just drinkable, you know?
And you're kind of hitting the center of the benchmark. each
Yeah.
time. You're like,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I'm not like other breweries that have to try and make a mark for themselves by, doing something, they're pushing the boundaries on this and that, because the fact that I'm gluten-free sets me apart. So
Exactly.
I can just do those classic flavors and not apologize for that. And those classic flavors are classics for a reason.
Well, people are really looking
good.
at them. Yeah. I'm going to start playing around with your beer that I have at my house. I'm going to start making some beer cocktails with them and see what I can make. I'll film it for you.
Yeah.
And see, like, what does this do and how does it taste?
There's a restaurant in Kamloops actually that does that. They make different cocktails with my beer. And
that's
they serve
fun.
beer mimosas at breakfast and stuff. And
See, that's just cool. That's fun. So I tried to get as base of tastes as I could. So this is yours. We've got some chocolate. I'm just going to get you to unwrap a couple of these out of the camera range because they are labeled. And then I've got some mystery cheese. So this is just a white cheddar. It's pretty sharp. So this could be like a savory, like a umami note, which is pretty friendly with almost everything. And we've got a little chocolate over here. Will it stand? It will not. Ah. Okay. You can see this?
tapered edges.
Chocolate, tapered chocolate. There we go. And got some saltiness, which is just salt. So this is as simple, really, as a base flavor can be, because your palate, your tongue itself is tasting all the base things. It's tasting the bitterness, it's tasting salty, sweet, sour. Some people say fire, but it's actually, or heat, but that's just a pain receptor.
Okay.
Yeah, and we like it because of the olfactory elements inside that are packaged with it. So like your hot sauce, which made me want to die.
It's a hot sauce. It's hot.
He says it's hot. I had a tiny bit on, I think I just took some on my finger. And, oh my gosh, no, I was crying. And
I'm sorry.
I'm pretty
I should have given
tolerant.
you a warning label.
There was no warning. He just hit me with this. Oh my gosh, yeah, no, it's Armageddon sauce. That's what that is. I'm just going to crank some on here. Ah, I'm putting salt everywhere. I'm going to make 2 of these. So that one there, because we're going to lick our finger and dip in it. And even though we're cousins, gross. All right, so there's some salt. So that is a very base taste. So that's one of the tastes that you're just going to taste on your tongue. Because really salt has some flavor, like you can tell different floral flavors sometimes in salt. Basically, it doesn't have a lot. And this is a complicated bitter because it's got a lot of other stuff going on. I just want to see if I can stand that up. I cannot. Renee, did you get a close-up of my failure? Yeah? She says she did. I don't know if she did. Okay, and this you bumped from your neighbors?
I did.
And it is not a urine sample?
No, it's apple juice.
It's apple juice.
I saw him pour it from the carton. It was definitely apple juice.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I'll keep this one. All right, and I went out in my garden. And as every prairie kid knows,
And you picked a weed.
I picked a weed. Rhubarb, which is a complicated sour. So apple juice is a complicated sweet because it's got a lot of other things going on, like we'll smell so many things. We'll taste sweet, we'll taste a little bit of sour, probably not much bitterness, probably no umami, but it'll smell like all kinds of things that give it its flavor. This one, I'm gonna want Renee to close up tight to Chris's face because I'm hoping things happen that he can't control. I want you to try and control it and see what happens. I bet it'll be worse.
It's not my first time having rhubarb, I did grow up on the prairies.
Yeah, but did you dip it in a little cup of sugar?
Yep.
That your mommy gave you?
Yep.
Yeah, we all, Renee, did I give you that when you were a kid?
No.
Oh.
Deprived childhood. What kind of mother were you?
Things I failed at. Well, Rob doesn't like rhubarb. He says that part of the complicated taste is that to him it tastes like throw up.
Really?
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get it. I would have never gone there.
It has an edge of, yeah. Renee's nodding her head. I just like swinging these around and making Chris dodge all over the place. Oh, here. I'll put the big dramatic leaves out.
Swing it around, causing our autofocus to do this?
Yeah. I don't know. She kicks it out of autofocus a lot.
She's a professional.
She knows what she's doing. And I'm half blind, so I like autofocus. And these are too far. I'm always bashing myself in the face.
There you go.
Yeah. Who can solve that? All right. So let's start with what you've got on tap.
Well, I got a lot. What do you want to do?
Oh, I don't know. Let's find, what do you think would be a good pairing for our chocolate? So something going with bitter.
Something bitter? Well, when you say bitter, that would be the IPA. That's my highest bitter
Okay.
one.
Let's go for the IPA and also something that is sweet and something that's sour. Can you? Swedish and sourish.
Swedish and sourish.
Swedish
okay.
and sourish and bitterish.
All right.
And somehow we have to keep these apart.
So that's the IPA.
Okay, IPA is here.
I tend to not have a ton of residual sugars left in my beers,
Yeah.
but
What would say it has a fruity note?
so the IPA has a bit of a fruity note. This has orange peel in it.
Okay.
It's my quick-witted.
Ah, I love that one. I think that's my favorite.
It's a
So I might
quick-witted.
be.
That's the one that keeps winning gold medals. So
Well, yeah.
so you have good taste. And then
Can you keep these all apart in your head?
this was the IPA. I know the color of them because
Yeah.
I pour them all the time. So that's the
Okay.
IPA. That's the wit. And then why don't we go with like a clean lager?
Yes, let's
Because
try.
there is a touch of sweetness to that,
Okay.
right? And wow, look at that. There's some foam there.
Foam.
It's like my first time pouring beer or something.
It's foamy business. Oh, that's very exciting.
So that lager, I always talk about my kids say I talk about my awards too much, but that lager actually got an honorable mention at the BC Beer Awards last year, which I'm super proud of because I'm the only gluten-free guy. There's no gluten-free category in BC. That's up against all of the breweries. That one got an honorable mention.
Oh, that makes a huge difference in how I perceive the award. Because it's not you competing against in a niche.
Yeah.
It's you competing with this beer against everybody.
Against everybody, yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
So now that I understand how those competitions work a little better, now that
Uh-huh.
I've been in them, I'm going to enter differently next year, and I'm hoping to rate a little better. So,
Hey, well, you're getting golds.
Well-
What are you hoping for?
well, no, but that's in the gluten-free category. I'm getting golds. I
I
want
see.
a medal in a non-gluten-free category. I think that would
I'm
be.
feeling like you will.
Yeah.
Like these are
We'll see.
good.
We'll see.
Yeah. So okay. So he's not satisfied with golds. He wants to be carried home from Hamilton.
The BC Beer Awards are in New Westminster, but okay.
Okay, they'll carry you over the mountain and back into
Yeah.
the valley. All right. Let's start with the chocolate and see which of these three we like best
'Kay.
with it and why we like it. What does it do?
Okay,
So, who is this?
that's IPA.
IPA. Okay, and you have an IPA?
IPA with lager.
Okay, and we're in, good, we're in the same order.
We are.
All right, so here's our IPA. Grab your chocolate, gentlemen. All right, we're going to take a sip of the IPA, probably 2 sips. 1, 2.
Okay, cleanse your palate.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a fruitiness taste to that beer, but there's no fruit in it. It's just the hops that do that.
Yeah,
It's more of a citrusy than a fruity, actually.
yeah. There's a citrusy, like an orange and grapefruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it would be, if I had brought grapefruit, it would either just be really happy with this, like grapefruit in a salad, or it would get into a big fight. Like, oh, give me more grapefruity.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
So, hot tip for when you're wine tasting or beer tasting or anything, 1 sip to sort of coat and cleanse your palate, gets rid of the toothpaste or the gum. Don't chew gum when you're going wine tasting or beer tasting. You know, whatever you had going on in your mouth, you're tasting it even though you don't know. So your first taste, especially of something very acidic like a wine, it's going to taste awful the first time. Have you noticed that? Like
Yeah.
you're going up wine
Yeah.
tasting and the first taste is
You always give it a good rinse with the wine first.
and then go in and try it again. By the time it's your 3rd sip, it's going to be a good experience. Okay, you try this?
I did. And I found the bitterness really sharp on the front end, which surprised me.
How is it? Does it pull the beer around? Gives the beer a bit more bite, I think.
It does, yeah.
Something a bit Bitey fox.
Yeah, I'm tasting the hops more than I am
Yes.
the malt at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to boost the hoppiness of, I bet it would work with any IPA. Try, like, just grab some squares of good black chocolate and grate it into whatever you're eating. How bad can it be?
Adding chocolate to something, yeah, probably not a bad idea.
Right, yeah. You either add chocolate or bacon to
Bacon,
make
I was
anything
just
better,
gonna say
right? Yeah.
Man, that blows my mind how that changes the flavor like that.
Yeah, pulls the citrus down, the kind of the bitey hops up,
Yep,
but the citrus aspect from the hops down. And this does get creamier.
it does, a little bit.
It still keeps its bitterness. It's like bitter cream.
Yeah, it almost tasted more bitter to me initially, but then it kind of
Yeah,
mellowed out a bit.
Yeah, I'm wondering if just our palates are getting used to this combination.
Right.
Yeah, so it could be that, like, I'm thinking like a bitter chocolate cheesecake. It might be really amazing. Should make that. Hey, Renee, want to do some baking? She's on a delay, so she looks like she's responding, but she doesn't have a clue what I'm saying until like 20 seconds later.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next thing. Still keep our same food.
Okay.
All right. Who is this?
This is the quick-witted Belgian wit.
Yeah, it is my
So
favorite.
it has orange peel and coriander in it.
Oh, wow.
It's got a lighter body than any of my other beers because a wit is typically a wheat beer. Although I don't use any wheat, but I try to give it the body of a wheat beer, which is a little lighter.
I feel like this should overpower this.
I feel like it should too, because this is a very subtle beer.
That changes the chocolate massively. It's almost desiccated. Like it's like a cocoa product and
But
dry.
I don't like what it does to that beer. I mean, if I tasted that in production, I'd go, what's wrong?
You're not wrong.
Yeah. It tastes like, I don't know what that tastes like. You know, the talking orange peel, but just the white stuff that sticks to the orange, the pith. Yeah,
it's
that's
pithy.
Yeah.
It also has kind of a damp canvas tentness to it.
Yeah, it's just not good. This is a really good beer, I promise, but it isn't at the moment.
Don't do this.
No.
Don't.
Don't do that.
Stop doing it. Put
Stop
that down.
doing that, yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do we got
So
here?
this is my lager.
All right.
So
Hi.
it's just a clean, crisp,
Ooh.
light lager, but it does have a touch of sweetness to it.
It's beautiful. It's jewel tone. Like, really nice. I love how your wit beer smells.
Already I'm tasting a little more hops in that than I usually do.
Huh. It keeps this dry.
It does.
What happens back in the beer?
I feel like it makes it sweeter.
Yes. It doesn't canvas tent it.
No, not at all.
No.
I could do this pairing.
Yep. Sweeter beer, more chalkier, like
Yeah.
drier, not creamy. So if you like your creamy food to taste less creamy, but your beer to taste more sweet. So think of that with a base flavor of bitter for anything bitter. This beer should pick up in its fruitiness.
Yeah. Do we want to try the sour with that, or is that too extreme?
Too extreme? Let's do it.
Let me grab a couple more glasses here.
I gotta get out of the way. He's doing stuff. Remember to approach from the other side?
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, you stood on my left though, so that's.
I screwed him up.
Yeah, you screwed me up.
You can show me how to use your taps at the end.
Okay.
I've never done that.
Okay.
Nobody ever lets me play with your things.
Oh, you just assume I'm going to let you play with my toys.
Yes. We're cousins.
So this is a sour. So it's got a lot of lactic acid in it.
Ooh.
So it's like the polar opposite of a lager. A lager, you try and remove all the lactic acid, whereas this, you do a ton of it, which sours it, almost makes it go bad.
Yeah, almost yogurty kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to try this with the cheese, but let's try it with this first. And then curiosity says cheese could be great.
I agree. So, well, it definitely makes the chocolate sweeter.
Way sweeter.
That's about all I'm getting is just sweet now. Oh, and that's rip your face off. Tastes like that.
Ill-advised. Huh. I'm guessing that the rhubarb will make this taste fruity.
Yeah, probably will.
Yeah, I think we're going to be tasting like pineapple and mango in this. That's my bet. I'm going to lay that down. But makes the bitter thing sweeter. Yeah. Whew. That was challenging.
So I'm rinsing with lager.
Yep. Okay. Because of the lactose that's developed in here.
Not lactose.
No, lactic acid.
Lactic acid.
Lactic acid, not lactose. Whoops.
Yep.
But I know in wine, we want to often pull up the lactic acid and pull down the malic acid.
Right.
And that's what gives wine, apart from some other things, like a creaminess.
Okay.
Yeah. So almost every red wine has a little bit of malolactic fermentation. So you're pulling down the malic acid and developing a bit of lactic acid. And some white wines do, like a buttery Chardonnay.
Okay.
Like if it says how much mallow did this
Okay.
get affected by, that's the malolactic fermentation where you're pulling as much lactic acid as you can.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's just bacterial action in that product.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly what we do here. We hold it at a tepid temperature and dose it with a bit of acid to get it going, and then the bacteria just takes over and just turns it sour. The pH just drops like a rock. And 4 days we rest it like that.
Okay, yeah. Very fun. All right, so I'm going to grab some cheese and try it with it, because this, even though I brought it along for kind of a complex umami, so umami is debatable whether it's actually a taste or if it's a combination of tastes. Sort of like, I don't know, is anxiety just fear, or is it fear and depression? You be the judge.
I'm not judging.
We don't judge.
We're doing this with a
We
sour?
have beer. We're doing this with a sour to see what the lactic impression is in both of them.
Well, it certainly takes the pants off the cheese.
It's very creamy. It's almost like a brie. The beer stays in its lane, pretty much holds its own.
Yeah, it holds its own. Yeah, it didn't really alter it at all.
It would kind of be fun to try and make a fondue with
interesting.
this. I think it would have a little snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's snappy. This is very, very good.
Thank you.
And yeah. If you can't afford brie, all you found is cheddar. Pair it with
But you're right.
something sour.
It was like a, yeah, brie is a good example. It's sort of almost like there's not a ton of flavor to it. It's just creaminess. And,
Just super creamy. And this is a really sharp cheddar.
I didn't taste it before I paired it, but
Well, let's grab something else that's in our down here. Who's this?
that's the
I can't remember ever.
that's the lager.
Okay. I don't think there'll be a lot of difference.
Shouldn't be a lot of interaction.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
there
think.
should be. Everybody's okay.
Yeah.
See, the
Oh,
cheese is
I
picking
taste
up
the cheese, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's not brie anymore. It's a
not.
cheddar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely cheddar.
See, food pairings is crazy because it's all, nobody changed the food,
Right.
and it's all impression.
Right.
Yeah. So you can use your beer to either enhance some food that you're giving your guests, or if you really done bad things to the food, it's like, oh, that's awful. You should be able to tweak how people perceive the food
Yeah.
by changing what you're serving with it.
interesting. I was at an event a couple of weeks ago, and the chef there was doing hors d'oeuvres to serve with the wine and beer tastings. And he wanted to make a gluten-free cheese sauce. Like cheese sauce normally has a roux as a base with flour. He wanted to do a gluten-free one.
Okay.
And so he used a trick where he used lemon juice and baking soda instead of flour and fat in order to create the roux. And he says it works really well because it doesn't seize up when it cools down.
That's amazing.
But what happened was the sauce wasn't as creamy as he wanted it to be, so he dumped a can of my stout in it.
They work.
And it smoothed it right out. It was amazing.
Super trick.
Yeah.
All right. I'm in here with this
You're
guy.
in the wit.
Which is a more complicated beer. Still cheddary, but more
cheddary.
creamy.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah. It's like it's not as old of a cheddar.
I feel a bit of the body's gone out of the beer.
Yeah, you're right. And it's pretty darn fruity.
Yeah. I mean, it's got the same flavor, but it doesn't have the same body. It's almost like a wit flavored water. You know, like somebody's watered it down or something.
The wit water.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. So stick with the other ends.
Well, you know, I mean, I say that, but honestly, like when I'm making beer, it's not just about flavor. Well, it doesn't taste like beer. Well, it's not just about tasting like beer. It's when you drink a beer, there's more than just taste. There's the aroma, there's the body, there's the mouthfeel, the carbonation. All those things all come together to the beer experience.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, I've had gluten-free beers too that sure they taste like beer, but I feel like I'm drinking a beer-flavored soda. Like they don't have the right body of a beer.
That's exactly what I thought.
And so the thing is, I can never make millet taste like barley. But if I get everything else right, if I get the body right and the mouthfeel and all that stuff, the flavor kind of almost takes a back seat. It's like it's like you get a pass, right?
Right.
And so
But
people
the
go,
flavor's
that
still
tastes
there,
exactly like beer.
Yeah.
Well, it's very close, but it's the flavor that's slightly different. Everything else about it is the same, and most people don't pick up on that. I get like beer judges or sommeliers in here that they kind of go, there's something a little different, and I give them a little millet to chew on, and they go, oh, there you go, that's the flavor I'm getting. But most people don't get that because all the other properties are there, right?
Yeah. Huh.
And so when you start messing with those properties in my beer, that's interesting to me. Because that's really what I focus on a lot when I'm making them, right?
Yeah, and what are we pairing with it that gives it a lighter feel?
Yeah.
Or a more bodied feel? Okay, let's try some salt.
Makes me question what I'm doing when I'm tasting. Right? Like, what did I just have for lunch?
Yeah, right?
Right? That didn't even occur to me before.
Am I loving it or loving something I drank beside it? Okay.
Yep, that's salty.
Salty as salt.
What beer are we doing with this?
Anything will work with salt.
All right, let's try this IPA.
Oh, come on, this is amazing.
It doesn't pull up the bitterness, but it pulls up all the other flavor notes that are in there.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's what they say, salt is a flavor enhancer, right? That's really just what
sings.
happened.
Yeah, the bitterness stays there, the texture stays intact. And that's why you find on bars around the world little bowls of salted something.
Salted pretzels or whatever.
Pretzels, peanuts, whatever. Just what they should have is just a little salt lick.
I thought they did that just to sell beer, make people thirsty.
But also super friendly.
Yep.
It's good for wine too, like salty, fatty.
That's really good.
French fries and beer. Yeah, if you want to watch this beer just bloom, try it with salty. I would go for French fries or something. Put some extra salt on it. Okay, try the next one. Salty. It does a different thing. I'm getting a little bit more sour note, but only on the back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of back of the palate.
It's like a bitter orange instead of like the orange is more neutral. would say, for lack of a better word, but this
Yeah.
almost turns it more into like a bitter orange.
That's nice. It's not as dramatic as this one.
Is that one? No.
This one just
no,
went
it's definitely more
like,
subtle.
Yeah, this one is the second that the choir that was singing in unison all breaks out into all the harmonies.
Right?
That's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
holy moly, look
Yeah,
what
yeah,
you
yeah.
got going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Salt up, brother. What are we going in for now?
This is the lager.
This is the expected taste with salt.
Yeah.
Every ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It makes it more lagery.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
It's very lagery.
It's like there's just more flavor there. It's
Yeah.
just more.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
more.
It's an enhancer. And then who's our last little guy?
That was the sour.
Okay.
A little scared of this one.
Oh no.
If that brings it up.
No, I don't know. I'm very sensitive to sour though.
Salty lemons, I mean,
Yeah.
It's-
Salty lemon.
that's not, wouldn't be my go-to.
I can see a portion of the population loving that though.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like a salted tequila shot almost.
Yeah, or oh, what is it called? Oh, help me out. You've got lime and mint. It's all crushed up. And it's a very
Like a margarita?
a mojito.
Oh, mojito.
A mojito.
Yeah.
It's very mojito-y. Like think.
Yeah, okay. I mean,
think
I
that.
think mint when I think mojito, and I'm not getting mint, but
No, the last mojito I had very little mint, so I'm thinking of that one. Mojito at Earl's. That's the one. Not so minty. Yeah, I could see on a hot day, this would pretty much hit the spot with your, I don't know, what kind of, what's your salty treat that you go for?
me, I'm a killer for Doritos. You can't put a bag of Doritos in front of me. It's
Oh
gone.
no, really?
You know, and it
Yeah.
pairs terribly with every wine I've ever had in my hand, and
Yeah.
I just keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what Doritos would be good with wine.
No.
No,
Haven't
maybe
found one.
a
Believe me,
sort of
I've
a
tried.
neutral sparkling wine.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Here's yours.
Thank you.
I'll drink out of the party cup. Okay,
Every cup's a party cup in a brewery.
every cup's a party cup. All right, okay, so how is it that I have so much left and you're out?
Yeah. I like my own product. What can I tell you?
It's very good.
Oh, that makes this really sugary.
Yeah, but also kind of awesome.
Yeah, I could do that pairing.
Yeah.
That's really
Do you
nice.
taste more caramel in the apple?
Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
it's like a caramel apple
Yeah.
squeeze.
Yeah.
That's nutty.
Well, you know, there's a lot of
I'm good together.
yeah. That's what I was saying. I use a caramel malt in this,
Oh, okay.
which there's a lot of hops in there, so I needed a stronger flavor to stand up to it.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with a more of a caramel kind of malt. But I usually don't taste the caramel in there,
Except
except now I do.
now, yeah. So serve that with apple pie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You should have like the caramel apple pie and taste the caramel in here. Huh. This would be good.
That's a nice pairing.
I want to try it with the sour because the
Sour?
sour is a challenge.
Oh,
Oh, look at him.
look at that! I can be trained.
What is she doing? She's like doing some celebration dance. Weird kid. I think it's the proximity to the hand sanitizer.
She's your kid.
I
just saying.
know.
Well, let's face it, she's Rob's kid.
Wow, it's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, that sends the sweetness like way over the top. It's like, yeah, it's just like you're drinking pure sugar.
Woof.
It takes everything else out of it.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's a murder. Okay, Prairie Kid. Grab your scepter. snap off the weird end. Okay, I have hopes that this and this
The sour?
will do all kinds of things. Can if you want to. I'm going to take a sip of this and I'm going to bite this. Okay, get a close-up on this guy's face. I'm hoping for great face action.
Gonna add a little gray to my beard, are you?
Open. Okay. Gray Fox, lug it up.
Well, sucks all the saliva out of your mouth.
I feel a little twitch.
It's sour, but it
is
I expected
not
an
terrible.
over-the-top sour though. Like it didn't
Yeah.
blow me away like I thought it might.
Okay.
Oh, that really ups the sour in that too, doesn't it? I'm sorry, this just reminds me of my grandma's house. We'd be in the backyard and we'd yank some of this out of the ground. And
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd drink your beer,
yeah, well, no, not so much.
and then you'd have stomach cramps for days. Because no one knew. Why is little Chrissy pooping blood again?
All right.
I have too many very graphic celiac friends. Okay, let's try it with something else. Super sour and,
And the wit?
yeah.
But wait,
You're doing
I'm
wrong
going to do this
again.
wrong again, I know.
See, she's not dancing for you. No more dances for you. This is just a nice beer. Look how it's holding its carbonation.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to salt it. Ah. Okay, this makes the fruitiness.
It does bring the
Very fruity.
fruitiness out.
It's almost like a sweet orange, like a.
It's weird to me that this, although it's a very subtle beer, it took a lot of the flavor out of that. The tartness is still there.
Yeah. I'm just biting it up like an old pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though, right? Like it's like the tartness is still there, but it's almost like something took the
Yeah.
flavor out of it.
Yeah, all the complication.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just now a sour
It's just sour.
stick.
It's just sour stick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have sour stick.
But it's funny because that's such a subtle beer. You wouldn't think it would
It's so
stand
subtle.
up against that
Yeah.
really harsh.
And it's turned into kind of a Valencia orange.
Yeah.
Nice. And a little bit of
Ideal.
bitter.
Here, I finished all my beer.
Hey, he's doing it right. Oh, we got the dance again.
This is how you can tell who's going to be editing.
I know, right? She's like, oh, thank God. Another shot I can use. It's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible at all.
This gets almost creamy after
Yeah,
this, though.
I really like what it does to that beer.
Yeah, this is not bad. If you're going to walk around eating something sour, you can come over to my place and get as much rhubarb as you want.
You're just going to kill that stuff.
I know, kind of thinking about mowing it over.
You know, my mom tried to get rid of a plant one time. She dug it out with her spade, and it grew back. So then she dug it out with her spade and built a fire there.
Whoa.
It still grew back.
Your mom
She
is
couldn't get rid of it.
something. Then she stuffed in a stick of dynamite.
She was a special lady.
Blew
Oh,
it
she'd
up.
have had dynamite. She'd have used it. Trust me.
My dad blew up some stuff with dynamite on the farm. Stuff that would probably have gotten him arrested. Protected animals and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone on to
Happens on the farm. Stays
happy
on the
hunting places. Yeah.
Farm. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, this is good together. And it doesn't have, it takes out that eau de puke.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I make, my mom has an amazing recipe for a rhubarb custard pie. It's so good with a crumble top. And because Rob doesn't like rhubarb, wonder, because I've got some of this at home, I'll pair it and see if he loves it.
There you go.
Yeah, the secret would be just bringing your beer over.
I have a feeling this is why a lot of people do strawberries with rhubarb, because it has that same kind of effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just calm that down.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh-wee. Okay, before we go, can I play with your toy?
Sure.
Just one. Which one can I do? Here, I can use my old cup.
Anyone you like. Okay, so cardinal rule is you don't touch the glass to the spigot.
Okay, here, move over here
Yep.
so people can see the instructions.
So,
All right.
so what you want to do is you want to slide the beer down the side of the glass so that it doesn't foam too much.
Okay.
But you want to have a nice head on it. So if, as it's filling, if you notice, oh, a head isn't building, then you drop the glass down and drop the beer right down the center so that it does foam up.
Okay.
So that's kind of like your regulation.
Oh,
You
so
you're aiming for a head that's about,
Doing a little dance.
yeah, doing a little dance to trying to nail the head that you want.
Okay.
Don't do that one because it's misbehaving, but try any of the other ones.
Is there anything we didn't try today? There
Yeah,
are.
there's my pale ale. We didn't do that.
Okay, is this pale?
Yep.
Okay. So, is this a good angle to start with?
Yep, and and pull it all the way. Don't go halfway.
Okay. Ooh, it's fast.
Yep.
And
But you didn't. Yeah, just give her another little shot, and you should get a head. There you go. Perfect.
Oh.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do.
now I can
Just to
come
get a nice layer of foam on there.
and work here for you in the summer.
Well, you got to get your serving it right.
I have that.
Okay, there you go.
Of
That's
course.
right. You're a wine person.
Yeah, I always have my serving it right. Yeah, I can get the next level of Cicerone and then do some talking.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my.
This is so nice.
That's my pale ale. That was kind of a funny story. I had a brick of ale yeast in the freezer, and I don't know why I had it because I don't use it in any of my beers. And it was there. I don't know why I bought it, and it was getting old, and it was to the point where it's like use it or throw it out. So I thought, okay, I'm going to make an ale. So I didn't put any effort into it all. Just base malt, used cheap hops, threw that yeast in it. It's going to be what it's going to be. And then I tasted it, and it was just like, oh my Lord, I love that beer. That is like my favorite beer. I'm going to have to make more and more of that. It just shouldn't be that good. I didn't put any thought into it at all. It's just a happy beer.
Yeah, this is so good. It's really good with salt.
Is it?
Okay. Apparently we are out of time. Yeah, you see? He needs to try.
I have to try it now.
Have to try. Chocolate didn't do anything to it, but salt. It's a happy day.
There again, it just
Yeah.
elevates everything.
Yeah,
Right?
everything just, yeah.
Oh, that's super refreshing.
Salt is our friend, and that beer is good. All right. So thank you for joining us. If you've lasted this long with us being the way we are.
We talked about Mennonites way too long.
I know. Well, they're really interesting. I see them a bit more from a distance than you, I think. All right. Well, thank you from our little corner of non-Meadow land in the beer world here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.